Good morning, Bowser. It's time for morning announcements. I'm Madeline,
And I'm Claire.
and we are anchors for BTV.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Today is Wednesday, January 13th. It is National Sticker Day.
Today's lunch menu is brunch for lunch,
Pepperoni calzone,
Italian chef salad,
variety deli sandwich or wrap,
baked apples.
and tri-taters.
In school news, Best Buddies will have lunch together this Friday during all lunches in the Bruins Den. Next Monday, January 18th, Fall Creek Valley hosts a Martin Luther King Jr. Day celebration from 3 to 6. Everyone is invited to attend.
If you are ever absent or late to school, you can access the BTV Broadcast on our YouTube channel linked on the school website.
From now until January 22nd, B212 is closed for laptop repair during college prep. Testing is going on at this location.
This Friday is the Honor Roll celebration for first semester grades. The 8th grade will go to the cafeteria during 6th period on Friday, and 7th grade will have their party during 7th period. Lists of students who made the honor roll have been posted throughout the building and were on the scrolling announcements on the TVs.
It's not too late to order a yearbook. Get a form from room C110 or from the school office.
And now to Josh with the sports and weather update.
Today's weather is a high of 25 and a low of 22. It will be mostly cloudy today. Today at 5 o'clock, boys basketball has a game at Raymond Park. Good luck, boys.
Thank you, Josh.
In national news, 10 U.S. sailors were captured yesterday in Iranian waters when their ship became disabled. The 9 men and 1 woman were detained by Iran until this morning when they were finally released.
Last night, President Obama gave his final State of the Union address that is given every January by the current president.
Today, many people will gather at Hinkle Fieldhouse on Butler's University's campus to honor 25-year-old Andrew Smith, who died yesterday morning after a long battle with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, a type of cancer that is difficult to treat. Smith was a star basketball player who went on to play in the European Basketball League until he had to stop playing for cancer treatments.
Helen Keller once said, "Life is a succession of lessons which must be lived to be understood."
On this day in history, in 1807, Napoleon Bonaparte Buford was born.
Interesting fact, intelligent people have more zinc and copper in their hair.
Joke of the day. What's the Dolphins' favorite game show?
I don't know, what?
Whale of Fortune.
Now to Mr. Harsha with the rest of your morning announcements.
Have a great day, Bruins.
Good morning, Belzer. I just want to make a quick announcement before we get into our assignment and our focus for today, which is going to be around goal setting. But I first wanted to talk a little bit about our honor roll students. We had 165 7th graders that made honor roll or high honor roll. And ironically enough, we had the exact same number of 8th grade students, 165, who made honor roll or high honor roll. And I just want to take a minute as building principal to commend all of those students for their hard work. We have talked a little bit this year on and off about grit, and I want to make sure those students understand how much we appreciate their hard work and their dedication, or high honor roll in particular. You can't just try every once in a while, or you can't just do really good on one test, or you can't really just work kind of hard and do your homework for a week or two. That's an entire 18 weeks represented on that report card, and really shows a lot of hard work and focus and determination from those students, and I just want all of them to know how proud we are of your work. So this Friday afternoon, we will do a celebration. Our 8th graders will be recognized during 6th period, and then our 7th graders will be recognized during 7th period. So as they mentioned earlier, your names will be scrolling on the screens throughout the building today so everybody can see your name. And also you should be receiving some information about that celebration on Friday. And we look forward to giving you some time to enjoy each other's company and celebrate all the hard work that you did last semester. So again, congratulations to all those students. We're going to shift gears here in just a second and talk about goals. I mentioned a little bit about goals last week. It's going to be our focus this week and next week here on BTV. and I'm going to lead some instruction and give you some details about goals today. We are going to have another activity on Friday, and then on Monday, I'm actually going to ask you to get involved and take some action, and I'm actually going to have an assignment for you. But first of all, today, I just want to let you know I did send out on Canvas this morning the sheet that we're about to go over on BTV. So before we switch over to the computer screen and I walk you through goal setting, I do want to let everybody know, teachers, you're welcome to leave this up on the screen because I would like you to let the students have a visual. But students, if you want to see it for yourselves, you also can log into your Canvas page, go under announcements, and you'll see that this morning Mr. Harsh has sent you an announcement with this handout on it. So let's go ahead and transfer over to the computer screen where we start talking about goals. The first thing I'd like to talk about is what a goal is. And I looked it up on dictionary.com, and you can see there that a goal is defined as the result or achievement toward which effort is directed. And I want to bring your attention to a couple words in that definition. I think it does a great job of defining a goal because, again, it is the result of your work. Okay, the result is the end goal in mind. It's what's going to happen at the end of this period of time. It also mentions that effort is required. The reason that we set a goal is because these things don't just happen on their own, and they don't necessarily happen easily. They are going to require some effort. And then that last word, directed, again, will kind of help us keep in mind that in order to achieve your goal, you need to have some direction. You need to have some focus. So that is the definition of a goal. We're going to move on to why we should set goals. I did a little bit of research just to kind of try to put up a few tips there for you and give you some reasons about why would we spend so much time talking about goals. Number one, goals provide you with a vision, okay? They allow you to think past just today. Very often, teenagers, 7th and 8th graders in particular, we have a habit sometimes of living in today. What do I need to worry about today to get through today? And setting goals helps you look past today, maybe on down the road, down the week, for the next month, the next year, and as we get into some longer term goals, maybe even on into your later life. So it gives you some vision. The second reason we need to set goals is it keeps you focused. As I mentioned on the previous slide, goals often require some effort, and having goals will keep you focused. There are going to be people, there are going to be events, there are going to be all sorts of obstacles that are going to get in your way, that are going to make it difficult for you to achieve what you want in your life. But if you have goals, it helps keep you focused through those adversities. The third is that it builds self-confidence. When you set goals for yourself and you accomplish them, you start having successes. When you start having successes, you start to realize maybe I can do that thing that I never thought I could do before. And you start to build on those successes and you build this self-confidence, and it allows you to be more confident and more successful. And then the last is it keeps you moving forward. Very often in life, people that don't have goals just kind of sit and they spin in circles. They don't advance. They don't move forward towards the things that they want. And setting goals, again, will keep you moving forward. So those are our reasons. Now we're going to move on to what types of goals are there. I just listed a few. There are many, many different types of goals that people out there set. Financial goals. This often is, as adults, we start thinking about our financial planning, what kind of money we want for our retirement, what kind of money we want to save for our children's future. Maybe you have children you want to send to college and so forth. But even at your age, it is important to start thinking about what kind of financial situation you want to be in the future. There are social goals. Some of us have social goals to speak out a little bit more, maybe to take a stand when people do things that aren't right, maybe to go out and meet more friends. Of course, this time of year, with New Year's resolutions, you hear a lot of people setting physical goals, that they want to lose weight, or they want to start running a few miles a week, or they want to, keep track of their calories. Academic goals is the one we're going to be talking about mostly in this situation, but clearly you have academic goals. You received your report cards last Friday, and I hope that some of you had an opportunity to look at that and try to find things that we are going to try to make improvements on this semester. family goals, career goals, and then again, I want to make sure you understand sometimes as an individual you have your own goals, but then also you might be part of a team. They mentioned that our basketball team plays tonight. They may have certain goals that they want to accomplish in tonight's game or for the season, and that's when you're involved in that goal setting with a group. The kind of goals that we're going to be dealing with are more individual based, but those are a couple different goals out there. The next slide is going to talk about the difference between short-term and long-term goals. As I went through some of the materials here that I was given by our AVID program, I know our AVID students have been working a lot in class on goal setting, and they are being leaders in our building right now as far as this process goes. But one of the things that they talked about was the importance of understanding, is your goal a short-term or a long-term goal? What I want you to understand about this slide is that really this long and short-term is relative. And what I mean by that is you might be looking at a short-term goal for today. Today I want to get this, this, and this done. Maybe your short-term goal extends for the rest of this week, the rest of this month, maybe even the rest of this semester or school year. So some of you wouldn't think about looking at something you want to do this entire year as being short-term. Long-term typically refers to really long-distance goals that might be over the course of a couple years. You might start looking at, these are my goals for college, or these are my goals for career, or these are my goals when I grow up and have my own house and car and somewhere down the road have a family. So really it's all relative. The biggest thing I need you to take away when we're talking about short and long term is just the importance of giving your goal a time limit. Whether it's a short-term goal or a long-term goal, you have to hold yourself accountable and focused by setting a time limit. If I say to myself, I really want to get a better grade in math. Well, if I don't set myself a time limit and I'm not specific about that goal, it will just keep going and going and going endlessly. Again, if I'm going to stay focused, I need to make sure that I have a time limit. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that. And then our last thing that I want to talk about as we move forward here with our goals is SMART goals. And you can see there the acronym SMART. I've actually seen lots of different models of SMART goals, and hopefully some of you have heard about SMART goals. In some of the different models that I was looking at, the SMART actually had different words. But in essence, SMART goals are the same. They are specific, they are measurable, they are action-oriented, they are reasonable, and they are timely. I love that quote in the bottom left corner there of the screen, that a goal without a plan is just a wish. If you say, I want to be rich, well, if you don't have a plan to get there, there's a very good chance that that's not going to happen for you. So you need to make sure that you have a very specific, measurable, action-oriented, reasonable, and timely plan. So, again, let's start with the first one, specific. That just means that you've got to narrow your goal down. If you just want to say, I want my grades to be better, that's way too general. Maybe you pick a specific subject area. Maybe you even pick a specific letter grade that you want to get. It's got to be measurable, okay? You have to be able to say, I know that I will know that I reach this goal if this happens. So if I'm setting a goal for my weight, instead of just saying, I want to lose weight, I might say, I want to lose 9 pounds by March 1st, or whatever it might be. It's got to have a number or an amount associated with it so that you're able to determine if you were successful or not. The third is action-oriented. We just talked about having a plan. A goal must have actions associated with it. There must be something you need to do in order to achieve that goal. Fourth is reasonable. We got to make sure that we're setting goals that are realistic. This is kind of tough, and this is one where you have to really do some reflection on yourself. If I have gotten in the first grading period a D, in the second grading period an F, and the third grading period a D, it might not be reasonable for me to say I want to get an A+ this grading period. Okay, we have to be honest with ourselves. Goal setting is important because we need to push ourselves to do better than where we're currently at, but we also need to make sure that we keep it realistic and reasonable. And then lastly, as I mentioned, you got to put a time limit on it. If you don't put a time limit on it, you'll never know if you've been successful or not. You'll just wait around forever to see if that happens. So you want to make sure you put a time limit. I went ahead and gave an example. I don't know if it's going to be up on the screen or not, but go one more, see if it's up there. Okay, I gave you an example here, and you can just kind of listen, students. An example of a goal would be, I will get above a 70% on my Q3 math test in March. I will do this by asking questions in class, attending at least one study session, and doing extra practice on the Go Math program at home. You can see there, getting us above a 70%. That was, excuse me, the measurable part of the SMART goal, measuring it by getting at least a 70%. I mentioned that it was the specific math Q3 test. That was the S for the SMART goal, the specific part. I made a time limit, that test that'll be coming up in March, so I know when that goal is going to come to an end. And then lastly, I made sure that we had action-oriented steps, which was asking questions in class, doing extra practice, and attending a study session. Again, the reasonable part is where you come in. That's your goal. You have to be honest with yourself and provide some reflection. So I appreciate everybody's attention as we go through this. Again, you have this to refer to on your Canvas page under announcements. Friday, we'll continue with a little bit more about goals, and then on Monday, I will give you your assignment, which will be submitted to me, and every student in the building will submit a goal to me. So thank you for your listening today, and have a great Wednesday.